Well, it's Friday, and it is the first show of 2026 for Toronto Sports Rush. So who else would me, Kyle Andrew, be joined by then Pierre McGuire? Pierre, welcome to 2026. You're joining us from Belfast, Ireland today, aren't you?
I am. I'm in a hockey arena right now called the SSE Arena, which holds about 11,000 people. It's the only women's tournament for the NCAA outside of the United States or Canada. And it's right now, Harvard is leading Minnesota Duluth 1-0. The late nightcap will be Boston University against Quinnipiac. Kyle, the energy is amazing. The population here is bought into this tournament unbelievably. I'm having a ton of fun watching it. And I've been here since Monday, and the passion for hockey is electrifying. It really is.
That's great to hear. Great to see, Pierre. Thanks for joining us from all the way over there. Speaking of passion for hockey, it almost seems as though the Toronto Maple Leafs have regained a bit of that big character win last night, wasn't it?
It was mammoth, and the biggest thing is Auston Matthews is the man again. He's going to have to be the man. He's got to be the guy that gets everybody else to go. John Tavares has been great all year long. I think Oliver Ekman-Larsson's been really good all year long. More times than not, the goaltending for the Leafs has been pretty good, but there have been a lot of other omissions. Auston Matthews is a guy that has to be the guy, and over the last few games, I think he started to be the guy.
Yeah, let's stick with that for a minute, because on a McGuire Monday with EJ Raddick this week, the title of the video was literally Auston Matthews looks like he's playing angry or something to that effect. And it seems as though there's a bit of a snarl in his step again. And like, listen, he's got a lot of work to do to get back to the consistent pace, but you have to take the good with the good here. And he had an excellent hockey game last night, his first hat trick in ages, but he looked determined. He looked focused. He played a good two-way game once again. And talk a little bit more about what you're seeing change from him that's making him once again the captain and the leader of this hockey team.
Kyle, he wants the puck at key times. He's driving to the net with his stick on the ice. He's showing his dexterity and skill level. He's shooting the puck like we saw him shoot the puck when he was bordering on being a 70-goal scorer not too many years ago. He is playing the way I'm used to seeing him play. And I love the point that you made about the defense or the 200-foot game. Because the truth of the matter is when he's good defensively, he's better offensively because he forces turnovers. He creates foot race situations, and he can utilize his size. I think it's fantastic the way he's playing right now. Now he just has to keep it going.
And last night, of course, he scored his 419th career goal, just one shy already of tying Matt Sundin for the most in Leafs history. The Leafs have never had a 500-goal scorer and never anyone close, but if there's anyone to do it, it's Auston Matthews.
Well, he's going to get it done. There's no question. It's just going to be about when does he get it done. But he will
he still be a Maple Leaf? Because there's been plenty of speculation.
I do. I think he will. I'm not going to be one of those guys that will speculate on that. But it was more than Auston Matthews last night. I love the way Easton Cowan forechecked, especially on the game-winning goal. I love the skill and dexterity of Matthew Nyes. I love the way Oliver Ekman-Larsson was transitioning the puck. I love the compete and the snarl from John Tavares. Guys are starting to figure out their roles. And what I really like the most, Craig Berube could have left Joe Woll in there and suffer. He says, you know what, I'm going to get proactive. I'm going to put Dennis Hildeby in. Hildeby goes in, and at the end of that game, I think you would agree, Kyle, he really delivered a virtuoso performance. So the coach has his finger on the pulse of the team right now. There are a lot of positives going on with Toronto, a lot.
A virtuoso performance by Hildeby, including that save in the last 10 seconds, absolute robbery. And just, you know, this is a character win. They were down 4-1 in this hockey game. This is not the type of game they would have had. They would have lost this game 7-1 a month ago or 7-2 or something like that. But people forget, like, Winnipeg's a pretty good hockey team. Like, they put pucks in the net. The Leafs hit a post and a crossbar in the first period. Like, this game was a matter of inches away from being more competitive right throughout. It wasn't a non-competitive game. Winnipeg just got out in front. They played well. A couple of great snipes. That Scheifele goal was something else. And, you know, just showing character. And they've now managed to grab 9 of the last 10 points on the table. And you have to look at things that way. Like, yeah, they lost in overtime to Detroit, but they still escaped there with a point. If they can go on these stretches of grabbing 7, 8, 9, maybe 10 points over the stretches of 5 games, they'll be right back in the thick of things quickly.
There are 2 teams I'd be really concerned about that aren't in the playoffs right now that I think will be in the playoffs. One of them, the Florida Panthers, they're starting to really roll right now. They're going to get Matthew Tkachuk back. If they take advantage of a sloppy ice surface today in South Florida, they'll probably beat the Rangers, who are hurt, obviously injured, And the Rangers, by the way, have played more games than anybody else in the National Hockey League. They're in big trouble. So if Florida takes care of business today, they're going to be, I believe they'll be a playoff team. I also think Toronto, if they take care of business the way you said, win 6, 7, 8, 9 points out of 10 every segment the rest of the way, they're going to get in. And they may very well be a home ice team. So the biggest thing is stay healthy, play with energy, don't get too dinged up at the Olympics, and make sure that you play with vim, vigor, and vitality every night.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the fan base needs a lot more convincing at this point, but this is definitely positive momentum. They're playing like the hockey team we speculated they could be. They've had strong goaltending, just not from the two guys we expected. And Wall gets a pass for last night. He's been good. That's not really a big deal. A couple of notable injury updates right now. Have we heard any more about William Nylander?
No, but he looked good in his muscle shirt upstairs last night watching the game. I haven't heard anything more about Willie. Obviously, he made the Swedish Olympic team, so they're pretty excited about that in Sweden, I'm sure. In terms of Christopher Tanev, it's just so tough. I don't know. I don't ask about injuries just because I respect the process too much. But obviously, he's a really important player for the team. And if they don't get him back, they probably got to get outside the organization and find something that can semi-replace him. They're not deep enough right now on defense.
Yeah, and they're not deep enough on puck-moving defense, and he brought so much of that calm and poise and veteran presence to the team. He looked like he had really got his legs back under him, and then all of a sudden he's back out again. It's an unfortunate situation. We wish him well, and we hope he can get back on the ice soon. You know, looking ahead, this team, like, starting off the new year, yeah, is there symbolism in flipping the calendar over? Sure, maybe, but let's just go over what they've got coming up here in January. They've got the Islanders, Panthers, Flyers, Canucks for their next 4. There's some winnable hockey games in there, but the Panthers game will be particularly big as a statement of where they stand right now.
So the other night I watched the Montreal Canadiens fall behind 2-0 to the Florida Panthers. I stayed up until 4:30 in the morning watching it and then commenting on it on a post-game show in Montreal. And what blew me away was the star players, whether it was Lane Hudson, Cole Caulfield, Nick Suzuki. Those guys delivered at key times when they were down 2-0. Eventually, they win the game in overtime on a Suzuki overtime winner off an amazing feed by Lane Hudson. Toronto's got to take a page out of that. Montreal knew that was a huge game for them because Florida was chasing. They took advantage of it, and they won. Then they parlay that, and they go into Carolina last night, and they win there last night against a very good Carolina team. So Montreal's sensing what they have to do. Toronto has to take a page out of their book. The top guys got to be urgent every single night. But you just said the schedule. I agree with you, Kyle. I really think there are a lot of winnable games in the next 4-game stretch.
Yeah, and they do need to win them right now because, again, we've been trying to avoid pressing the panic mode button all year, but they waited a little bit late to step into their own here. But it is what it is, right? This team is still – now they're not chasing a division title at this point in all likelihood. They're chasing a playoff spot, and if they can get – look what happened with the Florida Panthers last year. They backed their way into the playoffs. They weren't chasing the division title. They were chasing the real title. They're now a team that plays – Toronto Maple Leafs aren't playing – they're playing to get to the second and third round of the playoffs. That's where the line is for them now. Whether this roster is the one that can do it, you know what? Leave that for down the road. The bottom line is they've corrected many of the problems. They're scoring power play goals. We didn't like that decision. We didn't like the timing of that decision. But at the end of the day, they are scoring power play goals right now. Talk about that a little bit, Pierre.
Oh, I think the guys are awake. I do. I think they're paying attention to detail. I think they understand they got a good man fired in Mark Savard. They're playing a little bit guilty, which is a good thing, not a bad thing. And look, the desired effect happened. They wanted to shake it up. They wanted to get guys' attention. They got the entire team's attention. They got the entire city's attention. And I think when your city is paying attention to something like that, it goes to the players. The players feel that intensity. They feel that scrutiny. They understand the next fall guy might not be a coach. It might be them. Playing in Toronto is a good thing, not a bad thing. And I think most players know that.
Yeah, it's been very interesting to see how they responded to Mark Savard's firing. He was obviously a sacrificial lamb in this whole process, but if this was the intended effect, it worked. It's unfortunate for Mark Savard. It's not like much has changed with this hockey team other than, as you say, they are now awake. Let's shift our attention a little bit here to the Olympic rosters, which were announced this week, starting, of course, with Canada. Any big surprises there for you? Are you really shocked by what you've seen at all?
I'm really disappointed. Sam Bennett should be on this team. And I will not disrespect the people that are on the team, say Sam should take that player out or this player should take that player out. Not going to do that. What I'm going to say is Sam Bennett should be on that team. I can only imagine being a defenseman for Team USA or Team Sweden or Team Finland and having to go back and get a puck. And here comes Tommy Wilson and Sam Bennett to pile drive you into the boards. That's number one. Number two, Mark Scheifele. You saw it last night, Kyle, playing on a line with Gabe Vilardi and Kyle Connor. Mark Scheifele should be on this team. I don't understand it. I don't get it. But they made their decision. Now, on the other side of it, this is an amazing Canadian team. They're the deepest offensive team. There's no question about it. They're adequate and good enough to win on defense. And they're adequate and good enough to win with their goaltending. But I'll just say this. I was shocked that Bennett and Scheifele didn't make this team.
Yeah, I think you basically named the two names that most people are shocked. I think the Bedard omission was a little bit more understandable given his recent injury. And the fact that Macklin Celebrini made the team means they weren't obviously not moving away from the youth.
I'm glad that Celebrini made the team. Since we go back to September, you and I have been talking about the potential for this team. I said one thing Hockey Canada does very well, they learn from their mistakes. In 06, they didn't take Crosby, and they paid the price. They stunk in 06. That team was bad. And they had a lot of good players. They had no youthful enthusiasm. Look at what all the guys are saying, especially the first-time Olympians. Boy, it's great to have Macklin Celebrini on this team. Macklin Celebrini earned his way on this team. I want to play with Macklin Celebrini. That's what the desired effect is when Doug Armstrong names him to the team. I did a little financial work this morning before I came on with you. If you look at the Canadian roster, Kyle, 25 Stanley Cups won by players, not counting coaches or anybody else. 25 cups won by players. Go do the tail of the tape for the Americans, 5. And 2 of those are from Matthew Tkachuk. So, advantage Canada all the way. And I look at all the other rosters been named, Sweden, Finland, all the other rosters. Canada and U.S. are setting up to play in the final. It's the way it looks.
Sticking with Canada briefly, who's going to be the starting goalie for this team? Who would you put in net?
Right now, if you'd ask me, it'd be Logan Thompson.
Same. It would just you have to go off the current numbers, the most recent numbers. I mean, we've got guys that have been they've been playing on teams that haven't been playing well in front of them, obviously, and they have the pedigree, but you still have to ride a hot hand until that hand goes cool. I would make the same choice. It's not our strongest area, but it could effectively become that way. That's why they play the games. Moving over to Team USA now. Any surprises with their announced roster?
A lot of them. Number one, and I know it's not sexy. I'm not going to mention names, but I can tell you right now, Lane Hudson should be on that defense. They had the best defense of anybody in the tournament, but Lane Hudson should be on that defense. How he's not, I have no idea. I'll let it go at that. Jason Robertson, the one in Texas, not the one that plays for Toronto, not his brother. Jason Robertson should be on this U.S. team. The Americans have a plethora of offense. They don't have a lot of pure scoring on the wings outside of Matt Boldy. Jason Robertson would be that guy. And then finally, I think one more way under the radar player might be on that team, and that'd be Jackson Lacombe. Not a lot of people watch Anaheim play. Jackson Lacombe is a really, really, really good player. The American team is deeper than Canada in goal. They're deeper than Canada on defense. They're not as deep as Canada is when it comes to manufacturing offense.
Yeah, it certainly seems as though, it's maybe Adam Fox, there's just guys that didn't make this roster, but it's the same situation with Canada, right? It's an abundance of riches in the U.S. Not quite as abundant as with Canada, obviously, but they're now facing the same problem with these types of selections where someone's got to get left behind, and whether or not you can only evaluate it in hindsight to know whether or not that was a mistake.
Here's why I don't think Adam Fox made it. I don't think Adam Fox made it because Seth Jones won a Stanley Cup last year. Seth Jones is 6'4". He's 215 pounds. Billy Guerin wants a big, robust, stout defensive team. Adam Fox had his chance to do that when we had the Four Nations event last year. He struggled in that big time. So I think that's why he got pushed to the side. If there was one player that I thought really earned his way on, It's Tage Thompson. If you look at Tage Thompson's numbers over the last 5 years, 38 goals, 47 goals, 29 goals, 44 goals. This year is on his way to another 40-goal season. And he scored the golden goal last year in the World Championships for the United States. I understand why he's on. And Clayton Keller, I understand why he's on too. He was the captain of that team, and he's always been part of USA Hockey since he was a 16-year-old kid. So I get it. I get why those guys are on. I feel bad for Adam Fox, but I think last year's Four Nations event really hurt him.
Yeah, I'm glad for Team USA that they put Tage Thompson on the team. He's an exciting player. He's the kind of player I want to see Canadian players up against, because he's got that type of firepower that's just, they can go tit for tat with guys like that out there. He's young. He's a great hockey player. It's a good addition for them. Pierre, before I let you go, and I'm going to let you go because you have way more exciting things going on behind you, any last notes going into the weekend, going into 2026?
I'm really pumped to watch these playoff races. From now until the end of January, it's going to be unbelievable. Playoff hockey in January for almost every team in the league except for Colorado. What they're doing in Colorado is absolutely off the charts. Nathan MacKinnon right now, and I know there are a lot of great players in the league. Nobody's better than Nathan MacKinnon in the National Hockey League right now. Not even close. So they got the best defenseman in the league, Cale Makar. They got the best forward in the league, obviously, in Nathan MacKinnon. And they got the two Woods in goal, Wedgwood and Blackwood, and they're really good too. So you look at it, they're pulling away from everybody else. That sets up for unbelievable races in January, and I can't wait to talk about them with you, Kyle, in the month of January.
Likewise, Pierre. And I almost forgot, quick thoughts on the World Junior Tournament thusly. The quarters begin today.
I'm excited for Canada. I think the biggest thing for Canada is keep getting offense from O'Reilly, Baudouin, and Desnoyers. That third line's been phenomenal for them. I love watching them play. Stay disciplined, stay out of the box, and hopefully that third line can keep delivering, and it takes some pressure off of everybody. The biggest breakout player, I think, for Canada, in my own opinion, Michael Hayes, the first-round pick for the Montreal Canadiens, plays at the University of Michigan. I don't see him needed any time in the American Hockey League. It'll be Michigan till they're eliminated, and then right into Montreal at the end of the year.
Pierre, thanks once again for joining us here in Toronto Sports Rush. Now get back to that much more exciting game just over your right and left shoulder there behind you. I'll see you soon, buddy.
You got it, Kyle. Thanks a lot.
Have a great day.